Hey guys, this is Brian with Cajun Cardboard coming at you from the great state of Louisiana, and I am super thrilled and privileged to have another Louisiana resident with me, Anthony Renato. He is the owner of Cards and Culture, which is a local card shop here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana that is extremely outside the box. It's innovative, it's forward thinking, it's ultra modern in every sense of the word. And Anthony has become a really good friend of mine over the past year or so. We've gotten to know each other. We've gotten to share information back and forth and kind of feed off each other and share some texts and some phone conversations and some lunches and just learn a little bit more about each other. But I wanted to introduce him to you guys and talk a little bit about his shop and then go through our 5 hobby questions so you guys can figure out who Anthony Renato is. So, Anthony, welcome to the show. I appreciate you joining us.
Brian, thank you for having me. This has been a long time coming, so I appreciate it a lot. Thank you.
Look, a lot of people, they don't know your name, but they're like, is that the purple couch guy? Did you ever think that purple couch would become famous and that would be kind of your MO? I mean, for those of you who don't know, Anthony pitched in the freaking major leagues, right? He's a major league baseball pitcher, for God's sakes, and an All-American at LSU. But I think now people's like, oh, is that the purple couch guy? I'm like, yeah, it's the purple couch guy, man.
That's incredible. You know what? If that's where I'm at in life, that's what I get known for. I'll take it right now. And we kind of set out to brand that as a thing. So if I get known for the purple couch guy, I'll be ecstatic. That would be great. That would be an honor.
And look, just to put it in context for those who don't know, Anthony's got a show called the Up and In Show. He's actually got a couple of shows that he does on his YouTube channel. And look, I'm going to pull this up so all of my subscribers and all the guys watching and gals watching on YouTube can see it. So this is Anthony's homepage for his YouTube channel. If you guys haven't, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon for notifications. But you can see in some of these little thumbnails down here, they like to do their show. And when I tell you their audio and visual is top notch, it's on a whole different level than this hack job that I'm doing where I just turn on the camera and start screaming. You can see in the background, they've got a purple couch right there. And so every time they do a show, it's on this purple couch. And we're in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which first and foremost means what? LSU Tiger baseball, LSU Tiger basketball, LSU Tiger football. So I assume that has something to do with the purple color of choice, Anthony. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, no, that was it. You did it. I wanted something a loud splash when people come in, right? I wanted something like a talking point, something to talk about with people. And then, you know, if everything was going right, I could see people coming in and taking pictures on the purple couch, you know, and kind of making that a thing. And if you're in Perkins Row, stopping by and taking a picture. So hopefully we still got some work to do, but yeah, that's kind of the premise of why it's in here. And I even have a gold couch now in here. You got to see the updates. We have a gold one behind the desk. So yeah, we're doing some things in here. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we could do a roundtable show and get like 10, 12 people in there on those 2 couches together.
Oh, the purple and gold couches. It'll be fun.
Now we got it. And then let me just drive you here. So this is Anthony's shop's Instagram page, Cards and Culture. Go ahead and give them a follow as well. And then Anthony's personal page right here, Anthony_Renato. It's I misspelled it like the first 3 times, and you misspelled my name the first couple times. We were trying to text back and forth too, which is funny. But that's it. Cards and Culture, Anthony Renato, both of them. Go give them both a follow on Instagram. But let's give the people what they want. They came here to learn a little bit more about you and kind of where you fit in the hobby and what you bring to the hobby. We've mentioned your shop, and I try to explain it to people when they ask, like, what's this shop like? I'm like, it's literally like walking into Willy Wonka's, like, candy factory. When you go into your shop, man, look, let me tell you something. It is not your typical LCS, and not to disparage all the other LCSs out there. I'm not going to pick one over the other, but when I walk into your shop, it's like I can't figure out which direction to go first because there's jerseys, there's sneakers, there's beautiful ultra modern like artwork, right? Which is not my thing, but it's still it draws you in. You know, there's you know, obviously I used to be a sneakerhead, so I converted. So you check a lot of boxes for me. I try to stay in my narrow lane here with basketball cards only, but it's hard when I walk into your shop. It is very appealing to the eye.
Well, that's what I was going for, right? And I think by nature humans are collectors, right? And so that's what I wanted, a modern day collectible shop. And I knew it started with sports cards and memorabilia. And I knew that was kind of my niche, you know, type thing, playing baseball and having that background of things. But when I got into pro baseball, I stopped collecting cards for a while. I was signing them and doing all that stuff. So it was kind of a weird thing. But I got real into sneaker collecting. And then when I was done with baseball, I kind of grew out of the sneaker collecting. I just appreciate sneakers, but I got into art a lot. So the shop was a way to kind of combine a lot of the things that, you know, from the collector's mindset type thing, to throw a business around something that I love doing every day. And then we mentioned the Purple Couch, right? I had my podcast the last couple of years, and I wanted a cool spot that I can invite people in like yourself, you know, high level athletes, high level performers, not only to see the space and enjoy the experience, but, you know, to have a good conversation here, and hopefully have, you know, drive some business here and attention here. So yeah, a little bit of everything. And like I said, you know, with a collectibles background and foundation.
Well, look, I'm going to feed off the baseball reference. Obviously, you played pro ball, and you know this, but I don't think the world knows this, right? Shohei Ohtani's getting a lot of attention, right? He pitches, he hits, he's elite at both. He's probably an all-star in either. He's a potential MVP. He's always mentioned in the Cy Young. He's having another great season. But you, if I'm wrong, maybe if I'm wrong here, correct me. Every single hit you ever had in the major leagues was a home run.
Yeah, man. I got a slugging percentage of 1,000. Well, I don't know if it's 1,000, but I think it is, right? Like you hit a home run. And, 1 for 1, baby. One hit, one home run.
1 for 1 with a home run. I mean, why run the bases when you can walk them and point to your friends and your family in the crowd and talk trash?
But dude, I'm telling you, I had a million things running through my mind. The last thing was celebrating because I was like, is this real? Did I hit a home run? What do I do? Don't mess up, hit all the bases. And I was overthinking, like, how do I give the high fives when I get in the dugout? So it was absolutely a great experience. Obviously, hitting a home run at Wrigley against the Cubs. It was surreal. I was playing for the White Sox at the time. So it was like cross city rivalry. It was absolutely electric. Yeah, it was cool. So it was a ton of fun. I just wish, I always joke that I just got called up 2 or 3 days earlier. So I didn't even know my teammates and I didn't know how to like really celebrate. It was like, they're like, oh, this guy, he hit a home run. Like, you know, like, so that was kind of fun. It's always a fun story to relive and tell for sure.
Well, look, you're young, but you were pre like absurd celebration. Now it's like they got sombreros. You got a home run sombrero or a giant gold chain or who knows what the hell.
A laundry cart down the dugout.
Who knows? Now, look. In 1985, when I was collecting baseball cards as a kid, you're definitely taking one in the ear. The next time you get up, if you're running around in a shopping cart or putting a sombrero on and dancing and shooting fake pistols, you're getting one in the ear, right?
Maybe 2 or 3, honestly. Like that stuff wouldn't fly at all. Even when I was playing, like, you know, it was still like, don't show up the pitcher and like all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of for the younger generation and, you know, doing this stuff, making it a little bit more exciting and fun and seeing how it goes. So get some of these old guys out of the game.
Baseball's inching forward with some rule changes. And so they're trying to modernize and they're letting people show themselves, you know, show their kind of colorful celebrations a little bit more, which I think is a good thing too. Obviously you don't want to go too far, but you got to let people individualize themselves. Right now, players are individual brands and whatnot. So it's not just team brands. It's like individual players are brands, you know? So I think it's a good thing for baseball. All right. You got 10 terms to describe yourself in this hobby. What do you got?
All right. This was one that I was most nervous about, I think. 10. I'm going to have to count 10 things. That's the real part for me, counting 10. I think first and foremost, I would say investor, then collector, entrepreneur, innovator, fast follower as well, hobbyist in general. Like I think I like hobbies in general. Let's see, what else? I'd like to think I'm a leader in the space. I think, you know, younger generations looking up, you know, kind of, but I guess that kind of goes with innovating, but that's 7 right there. Let's see, what else? Basketball for sure. Basketball is my love. I played baseball, but basketball is my love. So I'm going to go basketball. Wax. I know you don't believe in that, but I love the wax.
I believe in it. I'm just trying to stay away from it, man. You're trying to make me go
wax.
Like you were trying to make me go broke.
Yeah, that's true. Well, on that note, then retail. I've loved the retail experience, just like understanding the psychology and things like that. So just retail in general is super fun for me. I think that's a cool word to kind of top it off.
Look, you nailed it with those 10. I love it that you started with investor. Like a lot of people think investor is a bad word now, right? And so collectors will thrash investors for moving cards at this price or that price. So I like that you started with that. And number 2, I think you crushed it with retail because as I've gotten to know you over the last year, you're a master communicator. And that's honestly, I'm serious. You're polished, you're persuasive, you're articulate, you know, you present well, and your shop is top of the line. It's in the nicest part of the city. You didn't cut any corners with what's inside the shop, where it's located, what it looks like, the store frontage. Every time I walk in there, everybody's a class act. And so you nailed it on retail, and you're going to do great in retail. Obviously, we both know that. So those 10 terms, you nailed that. You hit a home run, to use a corny baseball pun. Okay, so let's start talking about our 5 questions. First question: you run a business within the hobby. How much time do you get to devote to actual collecting and investing versus running the store? And do you need to fix that? Do you need to alter that balance? Is it interfering with your ability to collect and invest? Talk to me about kind of that balancing act.
100%. I love that question because it's one of the things that eats at me a little bit as a business owner is I don't get the same luxury to collect and things like that, right? Because I have to find profit margins and things like that. It's our joke that, in the shop that the word margin is used so much, but it's like, that's kind of in a buy, sell, trade business. If it's a hobby, it's one thing, right? You're going to lose some money. You're not going to worry about it too much. You're going to hold on to things, that kind of thing. But in the business world, I have to learn how to make a dollar on the things that I'm buying and investing into. So it's definitely taken away from the ability to collect, but it doesn't take away the love and appreciation of it. I guess that would be the thing. I still love finding the right buys, finding the right location, finding the right time to buy and sell, that kind of stuff. So I do collect a lot of things. I hold a lot of things too. So that's, almost my downfall probably. I do hold things and collect them. So, but I will say that especially the last 6 months, it's been a challenge to make sure that I still collect, while running. So that's a great question.
That's my primary concern when I talk to guys like you that run shops or that are in the business, like my friends at Card Ladder and other guys that do content, is that do you get desensitized to it, right? So do you get desensitized from seeing cards every single day? Do you lose that passion? And I don't think you are, man. I don't think you are. And when we look at some of your cards coming up, we'll see, obviously you got some cards that mean a lot to you that are long-term holds. And I love to hear that, because I've got some cards that are just absolutely untouchable. Like, I can give you my list. These are the last 3. You'll have to pry them from my hands, right? There will come a time, but it will not be anytime soon. And it sounds like you've kind of balanced that pretty well.
And the good thing is, there's a ton of passion still there for me. And I love business. So it's like one of those things that the business doesn't make me cynical or anything or negative, towards the hobby or anything like that. It makes me appreciate it more, honestly. I really do. And I think that it creates more passion behind it because, even if I'm not collecting, I'm trying to educate people in the shop or kids coming in the shop about what I would do if I was collecting, right? So it's almost like I still get to kind of do the same thing to give my brain that fix. It just might not always be adding to my PC type thing, but like I said, I've kind of collected over the years. I have a ton of stuff still from when I was a kid. So my PC, I definitely, I have some things in there for sure.
That's awesome. We're going to get to that later. Well, okay. This is a great question. You're going to like this one. What pro baseball player that you played with was the best basketball player? Were there ever pickup games that broke out? I'm assuming, right? When y'all are working out, there's got to be y'all are working out at gyms, the basketball court. Who's the best? And you could say yourself, for those of you who don't know, Anthony's like 6'7", 240. He looks like Achilles, right, from the movie Troy. I'm so jealous, right? Because if I was 6'7", I would be in Iceland right now, still making money playing ball. But
don't count it out. I might play when I'm like 38. I'll try to go to some small Europe country and play. I don't know.
You've got time.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed playing basketball growing up. I honestly, I would say on a lot of my teams, I probably was one of the more skilled players for sure. But who was really good was DJ LeMahieu. He's the main player for the New York Yankees. We played together in college. So I played more with my college friends than I did pro ball because technically in pro ball, you're not supposed to play. All that. So it was very rare that we would all play together, especially in one setting, right? That kind of stuff. But who was probably the most skilled basketball player that I ever saw was Mookie Betts.
Really?
Dude,
I've heard.
I'm telling you, the first time that he was a rookie in spring training. We just went to a local LA Fitness and we all just were shooting around. He just goes cold, goes and grabs a ball and does a 360 windmill. And he's 5'9", maybe. Yeah,
he's not big.
I was like, oh boy, I'm 6'7" and I can't do that at all, type thing. So we started playing. He was just a different beast, honestly. He could have played at Tennessee. I think he was going there and he was going to play at Tennessee.
Well, that's no joke. And look, I've heard he's like an incredible bowler, golfer, tennis. It's just one of those dudes that that can play everything at a super elite level. So I've heard the same stories about Mookie Betts. Now look, DJ LeMahieu is not a small dude either. He's a monster, right?
Yeah, and he plays and he handles the ball, so he's a point guard. He's a
So
6'4" point guard. Yeah, 6'4".
Yeah.
And he played in Michigan. He played all 4 years. His team was really good. They were like top in the state every year, and he was their starting point guard all 4 years. So he handles the rock. He takes it to the hole, and then like 6'4", 6'5" coming through the lane at you is no joke. Yeah, he's
trouble,
fun.
right? 6'4" with handles. Yeah. Okay. Question number 3. It's a 2-part question, so I'm cheating a little bit here. What is your favorite card that you own? You got to pick one. I know you got a couple on hand. I want you to pick one. What's your favorite card that you own and why? It doesn't need to be the most valuable. It just needs to be the most famous, the one that you care the most about. If you had to give every single thing that you have away as far as cards, what's the last card that you'd be holding in your hand?
Yeah. I think if we're going to go sentimental value, it's probably the least valuable out of the 3 that I have here. But it's this Ken Griffey Jr. I think it's 1993 Donruss. So it's a Diamond Kings insert. Super cool card. I love it. It's one of my favorites.
Perfect.
And the reason that it's my favorite is because when I was a kid, it was like one of those things on my dad's desk. He had it in a screw case. And back then it was just like, I was like, oh, that must mean it's super valuable. Like, I was a kid and I always asked him, I'm like, can I have it? And he's like, no, that's mine. Like one of those. And like, no, that's my baby. That's Ken Griffey Jr. And he was always talking about it. So when he dropped off all my cards from when I was a kid, he wound up giving it to me. He was like, hey man, I know you always wanted this. He's like, I'm done with it. It's all yours, bro. And I was like, oh man, that's awesome. Okay. So I took it out the case and sent it away and we got it graded and it came back at 8.5. So that's probably the most sentimental, meaningful one to me for sure.
Anthony, I'm a lot older than you. I remember when Diamond Kings came out in the early 80s, they were different. They hit different, man. And I don't know, I don't collect a lot of baseball cards. I wonder if those early 80s Diamond Kings and high grade are valuable. I have no clue, but I remember they're not. They were probably overprinted like all the other crap. But I remember getting those and it was like artwork. And I was like, oh, man, this is very, very different. So that's when the set collector in me came out. I was like, I'm going to get all these Diamond Kings, right? Because all the players in Diamond Kings were fantastic players. There was no slouches. So that's awesome that that's your card from 1993 because I remember collecting those probably all the way back. I'm guessing maybe Diamond King started in like 83, 84, maybe 82. I don't know, somewhere around there probably. So I remember those cards. All right, part 2 of this question. What's the number 1 Grail card on your list? We talked a little bit about this the other day about the National. It's coming up. You're going. I'm trying to go to if I can get this hamstring fixed and start walking normal. What is the 1 Grail card on your list that you're looking to put into your collection in the near future? It's got to be attainable. You can't say the Jordan PMG green, right? Or a whole, T206. Not that you can't go get that whenever you feel like it, but you know what I mean. What's that card that's like on your radar? That's a Grail type card that's coming up soon that you got to take a close look at.
Yeah, I think, and it's been on my list for probably 2 or 3 solid years, but it was too overpriced. It might be honestly getting to the point that it's probably. I haven't looked at comps lately, but. 1980 scoring leaders. That's Bird, Magic, and who is it? Dr. J.
Yep.
Yeah, that's my ultimate. It's just the one that I've always wanted, especially when I really got back into the hobby back in 18, 19. It was, I don't know what it was. Just I love Dr. J. He's one of my favorites, just like in general. Magic speaks for itself, and I just love what he does in business, and I just love the Larry Bird Magic Johnson combo. So I don't know, it was just one of those things that hit all the boxes for me, and that chart looks like it's probably not a bad time to buy right now.
If there was ever a time to use the phrase "buy the dip, baby," you're looking at the right time.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's the last 2 years, Anthony.
But I remember, how high did it get up to? $80K?
$75,050.
I remember I almost pulled trigger at $40K, and that's where I was like, man, I just think that's still a little overpriced right now for I think it was a 9, honestly, too. Like it wasn't even there you're on the 9s. Okay.
2 years ago, $10,000. Yeah. Today it's worth about $16,800, $17,000, somewhere in that range. But yeah, $75,000. That's the Mount Everest that we're seeing on every 2-year graph that we look at now, right? Even the GOATs, like Bird and Magic, they've done nothing wrong. Dr. J hasn't done anything wrong, but they're part of the hobby like all the other cards are, ultra modern, vintage, whatever. And we're seeing a Mount Everest on a lot of cards. So,
but I mean, honestly, like what's the math on? So 10K, and you said the last sale was 16K. That's an appreciation of 6,000 over
58.49%. It's up 58% in the last 2 years. What are your stocks and your crypto?
Yeah, like exactly. Take away that middle part. Anything that you put money into, that's a great appreciation.
I know. There needs to be a button. This is Card Ladder. I know you're familiar with it, but there needs to be a button on Card Ladder, a magic button where I can click it and it just draws a line from the first data point to the last, right? So we can eliminate this horrible feeling, because I owned this card, and it's ironic that you just mentioned that, because we did not talk about this before the show, but I sold this card to a mutual friend 48 hours ago. This exact card. Yep. So
I didn't know that. It was in your vault?
It was in my vault, and I moved this card. I moved to Kareem, and I moved to Wilt. But I sold this exact PSA, a PSA 9 copy of this exact card, because I'm making a push into some more Jordan stuff, and I'm having to move some cards I never thought I was going to move. And with this card, it's like you can't get the 10, right? So here's the 10, pop 27, pop 22, whatever.
What is the pop on that? 27?
Pop 22, so 660,000. So that one's probably run away. The ship has probably sailed for Cajun cardboard on that one.
Yeah.
But there's 600 PSA 9. So if I have to get back in at some point, I probably could. But again, I got in real low, and it was just time to move the card. And I had another local collector who really wanted it, but so I moved it. So it's ironic that you chose that card. Yep. But I have no doubt that we can find you that card in Atlantic City. We're going to get together and find you that card. Yep.
Sure. I like
all right. So question number 4, on a scale of 1 to 10, right? This is a big open-ended question. It's an optimism scale, right? 1 being the least optimistic, basically pessimistic, and 10 being rainbows and unicorns and, soft babies. Where are you on that scale of 1 to 10 regarding the Fanatics transition? How confident, how optimistic are you that they're going to come in and just knock it out of the park?
I'm crazy optimistic. I am. And I'm an optimist by nature too, I think. So yeah, I'm hella optimistic that they're going to come in and knock it out the park. I think the thing that I'm nervous about though is how that's going to affect, hobby shops and the local card shop, right? Like, I just, with a lot of their things, they're going to go digital and do different things and use the blockchain. I don't know. I'm anxious to see. So, but I do think that I think it's going to be good for the hobby. And I think that's why they took that big plunge and bought the rights to the teams and stuff like that, because they saw a gap in the market with Panini and Topps. And so I'm hoping that they're coming together. I like their leadership team, their executive team. I've actually met with a bunch of them when I went to the Mint Collective in March. So I don't know. I'm excited about it, and like I said, I'm an innovator. I like that kind of stuff. So I'm anxious to see what they do.
Yeah. So you got to answer the question. So
I'm gonna go optimism 8.5.
Yeah. You know what, Anthony? I'm with you. And for a lot of the same reasons. The thing that I keep going back to, Anthony, is as long as they listen to the hobby, listen to us when we say too many parallels, too high print runs, not enough transparency. I want to know how many silvers there are in 2021 Prism, which you're getting in your shop tomorrow. I want to know how many they printed. I don't want to guess. I don't want to have to do backwards Cajun math to figure it out based on packs and cases open.
We're not in this for math, yeah.
I want you to tell me, right? They told us in the 90s what the pack odds were for Jordan inserts and inserts for Kobe and Duncan and those guys. Why can't they do that now unless there's something to hide? I think Fanatics is going to take and extract all of the hobby knowledge and the feedback from the hobby and do the right thing. And then the other thing, and this is the big one, Anthony, I want you to envision this, right? You're watching the NBA Finals in, like, let's say 2026, right? Yeah. And it's the Bucks versus the Mavs, which it's going to be. It's going to be the Bucks every year until I'm dead, right? Giannis versus Doncic.
I would love that.
And at halftime of Game 6, right, in Milwaukee, Giannis comes on the TV, and it's a Fanatics commercial, and he is holding up, his gold 2026 Prism serial numbered to 10, saying, "Go buy a pack of these cards," right? Yeah. That's never happened. We haven't really had that on a mainstream level. So getting back, we were interrupted. Somebody came in and tried to buy some stuff, so Anthony had to go sell some stuff. But we've never had that on a mainstream level, right? And so now Fanatics has got this relationship where the Players Association, the individual players, are getting a cut of the profits. And so they're highly incentivized to go out there and push these cards. I don't think we've ever seen that on such a mainstream level. And I'm anxious to see what effect that has on demand, because, the big explosion that we saw in 2020 was an explosion in demand. It was COVID. It was just really good timing to begin with. The market was already on a huge uptick. COVID just was fuel to the fire. The Last Dance was fuel to the fire. Everybody stuck in their house was fuel to the fire. Everybody's on their phones. All of these things led to a huge surge in demand, and that's what caused prices and just interest in the hobby in general to go up. And I wonder if we're going to see the same type of surge, maybe not as quick a short-term surge, but maybe a steady growth in the visibility of the hobby, just legitimizing it as an alternative asset class to more people out there. I think we're already legitimate, but again, we're a small fraction. If you stop 100 people in that, in Perkins Row, the outdoor mall that your shop's in, you stop 100 people and you ask them if they collect cards, the odds are 0.5 out of 100 are going to say, yeah, I collect cards.
Right.
Yeah,
no, and I think you hit it on the head too with the athletes being incentivized. We've never seen it before. It's something that I think Fanatics is going to leverage. They already have their deals with these guys where they have to do, guys and girls, where they have to do, a certain amount of appearances and things like that. And I think it's just a matter of time before they start doing the collectibles, digital collectibles. You've already seen MLB, and NBA kind of dipping into the NFT market. So I really think that they're going to do something where they leverage that for sure.
Agreed. I can't wait to see it and see where it takes us. I'm optimistic with you. I'm 8.5 with you.
I love it.
All right, last question. This is a big one, right? This is you're on the hook here.
All right.
You got 5 spots. I know everybody talks about Rushmore, but I'm giving you 5, okay? So you've got to pick the 5 GOATs of all time in the 4 major sports: baseball, basketball, football, and hockey. But I'm going to give you 2 spots for baseball since you played pro baseball and you are a baseball player, because I want you to basically cover your bases. You can go ultra modern and old school. You can do whatever you want. So you get 1 basketball, 1 hockey, 1 football, 2 baseball. Who are your 5?
Are we making a team, or is it just like GOATs, like all of
you? The greatest player that ever played the sport, period.
Oh man.
Period. You can explain it if you want to, or you don't have to explain it. This is your list, your 5.
I'm starting with hockey because I don't know hockey as well, so I'm going to go Wayne Gretzky just because that's what I know from the hobby as like the Grail of cards, that kind of thing. So I'm going to go Gretzky there. I'll go football next because that's probably the least of what I know about. But Tom Brady's got to be my guy. That's my era. I grew up 2001, like kind of the first year that I started watching football, and I think that's when he won his first Super Bowl, right? Yeah. So I don't know. Tom Brady is just, I feel like the GOAT for me in football. Let's see. All right. So basketball.
Bro, don't you dare. I will click you off just like I brought you in.
I know.
You know what they say? I brought you into this world. I can take you out.
Show everything. We're going MJ. I know I'm more of a LeBron guy, but MJ is the GOAT. And like we're talking best basketball player ever, it is Michael Jordan for me. So bottom of my heart, it is MJ. I think LeBron brings 2 other things to the table that make him a different type of GOAT and a modern GOAT. But I don't think in basketball sense on the court, MJ for me, undisputed number 1.
Yeah.
So baseball. Now this is tough.
You get 2. You get 2.
This is tough.
I know it's tough.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say Mike Trout is one of them for me. Like, to me,
you're so young. You're so young. This is ridiculous.
I'm telling
you're
you,
so young.
I still think he's one of the greatest ever to ever play our game.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't, all right, let's not use Trout, the modern player. I'm going to do two players that are retired, and I'm going to say Barry Bonds.
That's my number 1.
Really? Nice. Okay, so Barry Bonds. If we're talking about the greatest player that I think played the game, it would be Barry Bonds. And then I got to go Babe Ruth because what he's done on the mound is his record stood for so long.
Yeah,
things back then that just dudes weren't doing, and just the legends. I feel like his
name's Babe. First of all, he's fat and he was the best player ever. What the hell's going on here? Right? This is not bowling. This is baseball.
Exactly. So I think let's go. I'll go the Babe and Barry Bonds.
Man, it's almost like I paid you. Those would be my exact 5 answers.
Really?
Yes.
Let's go.
Now you
LeBron, damn it.
No, you BS'd on Trout too. You said Trout, and then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna get hate mail. I'm gonna get death threats. Sure. People know your YouTube channel. They're gonna unsubscribe if you say Trout.
You shared my Instagram earlier. That was the problem. That's really why I didn't keep.
Yeah, you got to be safe, man. You got to say Jordan for sure. I'll just cut this broadcast right now, and it'll never air. So that's it, man. You've answered all the questions. And you did a great job, and you're fantastic. I'm lucky to have known you this past year. It's always great to know as many collectors as possible, especially in Baton Rouge. There's not many of us out there.
Yeah.
And I've enjoyed our past couple of years getting to know each other, and look forward to a bunch of years in the future. For those of you who've never been to the shop, if you're ever coming through Baton Rouge or even New Orleans or anywhere in Louisiana, make a trip here. Baton Rouge is right in the middle of our state. go by and just come check out Anthony's shop. And when you walk in, it's literally like you're walking into Willy Wonka's factory. It's colorful. There's stuff everywhere. You could just come in, take pictures, and then leave. You know, please buy something. But if you don't, just take pictures and just check it out, because it is unique and it is special. And I'm super proud of it. Just living here in Baton Rouge. And I like Anthony so much that I even go waste money on wax, even though he knows I don't want to buy that stuff. He can vouch for me. I have bought some wax from him. But I'm due
you're an investor. You get it. And you're an investor. Yeah. So
I'm investing in your shop when I buy wax is what I'm doing.
Yeah. Sometimes you like the gambler to come out. That's what it is. Sometimes
I gotta scratch the itch sometimes.
Exactly. So. That's it.
Anyway, look, thank you so much for joining us. I appreciate your time, man. I will get you on the show again, and we'll talk some more. And anything I can do for you or your shop or your show or whatever, I'm always at your service.
Anytime, man. This was great. I really appreciate it. I love what you're doing in the hobby. Thank you for everything you're doing. You know, that it all grows the business and the industry together. And that's why I said I'm an investor. You know, I'm an investor in the hobby, and bringing things together like this is awesome. So thanks again for the opportunity being on your show.
Cool. You're doing things the right way. Keep doing it, and we'll talk. We'll talk tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right, brother. See you. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching that. Anthony's come to become a really good friend of mine, and I don't want to say he's my protege, but when I say that, it's only because he's kind of doing what I do, but he's got a lot of years on me, right? He's got a lot more window in the hobby that I have. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Anthony's a good dude. If you are in Louisiana, go check out his shop. Check out his YouTube page and his YouTube channel. Subscribe to that, and then check out his Instagram pages as well. Good dude in the hobby. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed another edition of 5 Hobby Questions. Keep collecting, stay positive in the hobby, and peace.